You gotta be kidding me. Listen to Van Jones. I can't believe this guy.
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out is very, very dangerous because he won't stop Trump, but he's going to outlive Trump by about 50 years. And you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is a very, very despicable person. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, but the good thing, Van, you could.
And the
This guy, yeah, what is wrong with him? He said he was literally shaking. Shaking? Like, let me say something. I want to give this man a piece of my mind quickly. And I'm going to do it in a very Christian way. So Van Jones is afraid of the words of Vivek Ramaswamy because he spoke the truth on a debate stage. He was shaking, shaking in his chair, in his boots. I don't know what he was shaking out of, but he was shaking as a result of the words because it reminds him of Donald Trump and Nazi propaganda, and he referred to him as a demagogue. Give me a break. Give me a break, brother. Like, that level of virtue signaling, victim mentality, that cult mentality, you need to get rid of it. This is not even common sense anymore. This is pure nonsense. You telling me you trying to advocate for the Jews, you calling anti-Semitic rhetoric because of the words that were spoken, which had no connection to any level of anti-Semitic whatsoever. Nazism, his words, Vivek Ramaswamy, there was no reference in any way to that, but he made that connection. And I'm pausing here to help you to understand the level of rhetoric and the level of dishonesty, that virtue signaling, these fake behaviors of these individuals. I have a problem with that. These feckless men, I don't respect them anymore, and I don't wish evil in any man. But we need to stop respecting men who are promoting ideologies that are obviously politically driven. And this level of, you can't say this unless I feel okay, unless I'm okay with the thought and the opinion, it's not manhood. It's actually very cowardice. It's not even manly. Now, I want to pause to say, so when the Jews were attacked by Hamas on October 7th, 1,200 people were murdered, innocent people who did nothing to the people of Hamas, right? Even though Palestinian people had a celebration about that, I still don't know how you can have a celebration about that. We can advocate for life and yet have an issue with oppression. You understand? But I've never heard this man, nor his pundits, nor his co-host. Did you hear CNN condemning the act of Hamas? Did they ever come out and speak about anything of value? Did they ever call what happened that day anti-Semitic? So where there is death, beheading of children, burning babies alive, where that happened, there is no cry for anti-Semitic. When there are children, youth in our colleges, from the rivers to the sea, Palestine will be free. They are crying for a Jewish genocide. There's no cry for anti-Semitic. When there are behaviors in our culture, when people in our society are calling Hamas freedom soldiers, freedom fighters, because of what they've done to complete innocent people, there was no cry from Van Jones of anti-Semitic. But now you want me to hear you crying anti-Semitic over the words of a man, which you are implying as anti-Semitic. You are implying as racist. You are implying as supposed Trumpism. You're calling that. Bruh, give me a break. Let me listen to my man, not liberal have minds. So I have, instead of liberal have minds today, I have decoy voice. I like this guy as well. So let's take a listen to that because I let them put their common sense on it.
3 of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book.
I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that the great replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform?
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out is very, very dangerous. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
If you judge someone based on who hates them, nothing validates your stance more than making the imbeciles on CNN tremble in their trousers. Because let's be clear, the concept of replacing a population with another may have bigoted beginnings, but it's basically what the Democrats have been campaigning on for decades, which is actually pretty revealing, as before he was President Damon Shaw, he had said this.
And the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. An unrelenting stream of immigration, non-stop, non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America.
And as he won the election, he immediately went into action.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
With 3 years into basically wide open borders that are so porous that people can just pass right through, and when they do get stopped, apparently the military is there just to let them through.
Morning in the last 24 hours, Border Patrol alone has made more than 10,000 apprehensions. Migrants pushing through a breach in the border wall that had been cut through by smugglers. This happened right in front of Border Patrol. All these people came spilling through the wall. Then a human smuggler looks at our camera, gives us a shrug, and salutes us. Well,
but what's even more alarming is apparently in Arizona, the sheriff states that we are giving them a phone, a plane ticket, and a $5,000 gift card, which is in stark contrast to the measly $700 that
I'll tell you, boy. The Biden administration and whoever is controlling him, I'll tell you, taxpayer dollars now, because politicians don't make money. They don't make money. All they do is tax the people.
Americans in Maui may receive if your entire community burns to the ground. And the most bizarre aspect of all of this is if you try to research what's happening there, Alphabet tells you to come back later for the results. But what's even more strange is some migrants are going all the way up to Malibu, California in tiny little panga boats. Keeping in mind these apparently can just get up to 44 miles per hour, and the trek from the border to Malibu is over 160 miles. I just don't think you pass up a couple free G's, and I mean both the free phone and the taxpayer cash, but also make the trip much more treacherous unless these are the exact people that we don't want here. But why exactly is the left so adamant about letting this happen? Could it possibly be for cheap labor and even cheaper votes?
Is to allow for work authorizations so that the folks in here can get to work.
And AOC isn't the only one.
I knew it. Changing the demographic. So now they can vote. The goal is to get them to a place where they can vote, where they can do whatever they want. This is intentional. I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what.
Pushing this.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants.
So see how...
Well, how about you stop encouraging women from aborting their children also? Like, let's stop. Oh, let's also talk about that, because the same people, oh, we're not having enough children. We're short on workers. We need, wait. But you keep telling the women to abort their child. You add, oh, the contradiction.
How this went from spooky right-wing theory that's mean towards immigrants like me that makes news personalities quiver in front of their TV to no, this is something they've actually taken into heavy consideration because aside from labor and votes, population collapse is an actual danger to society. And on Chinese-run TikTok, apparently the algorithm is pushing this wave of dinks.
We're dinks. We don't have to ask our family for financial help or to watch our kid when we want to go out.
We're dinks. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks in bulk that we want.
Why is nobody talking about being dinks? Well, I'm freshly married and I'm gonna talk about it. You cannot tell me that grocery shopping and a fresh slice of Costco pizza isn't a good date night.
We're dinks. We're gonna go to Costco and buy all the snacks we want.
They're gonna assume that we're just obsessed with material things, even though arguably you need a lot more material things once you have kids.
We're dinks. We're gonna have lots of disposable income to spend on whatever we like.
So dual income, no kids, or dinks, is how I've lived most of my adult life, and it does have its advantages, but it's not necessarily something that I flex or try to encourage others to join me in some peculiar coping mechanism. So what I'm most curious about is why likely our greatest rival on a global scale is pushing their youths to have as many kids as possible, meanwhile trending to our youths, hey, look at this hedonistic lifestyle, you get to go to Costco a lot. Because at the end of the day, I'm thinking the migration mess may actually be based on the military.
If you're an undocumented person in this country and you can pass the physical and the required test, background test, the like, you can serve in our military, and if you do it honorably, we will make you citizens of the United States.
I did do a video about this. It's obvious that they just want them here to send them to the meat grinder because think about it, military age men, a whole bunch of them are men that are coming in. These are not people that are coming here because of asylum or fear of being in their country. Now, I think destabilizing somebody's country, as in the United States we are guilty of doing a lot of that, could definitely cause them to be spilled over here. Nevertheless, many of them that are coming here, it's not like they're running away from anything. They come in here because the door is open. The door is open. They are welcome. $5,000, cell phone. You know, put them in a hotel in New York City. It's like, wait a minute. Like, what about our own people? Like, what about our veterans who've sacrificed themselves in their lives and who are completely totaled as a result of their sacrifice for the freedoms which we now enjoy? What about them that are homeless in our streets? What about our people who are addicted to drugs in our cities? They don't need help? You know, these Democrats, boy, I tell you. That's why I could never vote for these people.
Do we need that? Do you know what the recruiting numbers are at the Army and the Navy and the Air Force?
But you're also demonizing the young men. You're telling them being a young man is not good enough. You're encouraging the idea that they need to be trans, they need to be gay. You know, you promote LGBT, you celebrate the alternative lifestyle. But and then when your army is not growing, because it takes aggression, it takes men who are willing to lay down their lives to be in the army. This is the kind of people who goes to war for your country, and you've demonized your young men. So now you have no person in the military. Now you are bringing these individuals over here, and then you trying to get them to pass the health check and put them in the army. It's like, was this the plan all along, or what's going on here? It's crazy.
Should we give them a chance? I think we should.
As we've covered recently, the sad status of our armed forces recruiting numbers that has somehow gotten sadder. So our dystopian nightmare went straight into the Starship Troopers timeline. So if immigrants truly want to become Americans through the military, I can kinda see the Democrat mentality, but isn't this basically the same decree that brought the Roman Empire to its knees? But at the end of the day, we may not have a choice, as Biden is desperately getting us into a World War III.
Then we'll have something that we don't seek and that we don't have today. American troops fighting Russian troops.
You serious, bro? And people are saying, the thing is, when people listen to Biden talks, right, they think Biden is this innocent guy who do no wrong and, you know, this older guy. But if you pay close attention to his behavior, he's advocating for things that if Trump was the one who said them, the media will have a meltdown. The only difference here is his mannerism, his gentle behavior, his calm spirit. But the stuff he's saying and advocating for are the reasons why we are at war. And secondly, most of these Eastern nations, right, they don't respect weakness. They see weakness as a mean to take advantage of. This is kind of the reason why they ready to fight and wage war in different parts of the world, like Russia and what's going on with Hamas and Israel. Like, they see a weak leader from the West, such as Biden. This is like saying to them, do whatever you want. This is your opportunity to do an attack and go after your enemy. A strong leader will stop this from happening. So Biden's behavior is so deplorable. This kind of behavior is part of the reasons why we are at war. So people need to understand that. Don't get wrapped up in the gentleness and meekness that actually what you might think it is. But in reality, what's happening is the exact opposite. People were saying, Trump, we're going to start war. Trump did not stop a single war when he was in the presidency. Trump actually, his strength, his policies, his boldness, his willingness to stand against the opposition caused them to be afraid. They did not want to wage war because they knew this man wasn't playing around. Biden is a joke. Biden is a joke. And people who wants to fight, wants to start war, looking at Biden, they say, hey, man, this is our time to do it. Because they have a weak leader from the West. They understand this, friends.
American troops fighting Russian troops.
As apparently the Russian military is increasing their ranks again. So it's just insane to me that if you just heard CNN's views with their shoe-sized IQs, you'd think Vivek is a spooky fascist. But in what, 3 minutes of your time, I could show you that this is not only likely happening, but it's what they've been actively working towards for decades. But if you bring that up in a debate, you're somehow xenophobic. Yes, according to CNN, that guy and this guy are considered Nazis in 2023. Because America being a melting pot is an amazing thing. I'm sure me and you don't look much alike, but if you made it this far in the video, we likely both share some pretty strong American values. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's most important to the average citizen. I'm just curious about the average liberal voter that doesn't know why they're a Democrat beyond that's what LeBron James and Taylor Swift tell them to do. But what would they think if their party's policies bring in a majority population of ultra-conservative citizens whose views are vastly incompatible with modern American liberalism?
Yep. This might backfire. And this is what I think, let it happen. Let it happen. I'm going to preach my gospel. Let it happen. We should definitely close the border. But what they are doing right now, I think it might end up backfiring. They might end up getting more people who join the Conservative Party rather than the Democratic Party. Listen, man, I'm just going to watch it happen because I think something's going to happen out of this that they're going to be highly disappointed.
I just think of a place like San Francisco that is known for their deep blue values. Well, apparently they just replaced the American flag with a flag from a place that is not known to tolerate San Francisco society. And this isn't the only place that this is happening, as even Ireland is doing the same, right after they had riots in their streets over crime and immigration. As Ireland as you know it may be a relic of the past.
Can you guess what the most popular boy's name was in Galway in 2022?
No idea. Tommy?
I'd say for probably Connor.
Jack?
Jack?
According to the CSO in 2022, the most popular boy's name in Galway was Mohammed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It was Mohammed.
Okay.
In Ireland? Oh, that's crazy, yeah.
So some may see this chart of cities in the UK drastically change their demographics in just half a decade. They may be alarmed, they may be concerned, or even angry. I'm not saying it's awful, and I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm just saying that it's obviously happening and actually part of one political party's plan. So it's just pretty suspicious when they start calling Vivek a Nazi for doing nothing more than noticing it. And if you appreciate my
Great analysis. Great video. I'll put a link in the description below to his channel. We'll show him some love, guys. This is crazy. So Vivek Ramaswamy is not a Nazi because he point out the obvious. Okay. People are saying that Van Jones. Listen, man. Go sit down somewhere. Here is the thing. I love the remark. We are behaving like Rome, aren't we? We are behaving like Rome. And the issue that's happening in this country, and I've said it and I said it before, I'll say it again. Because when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither was thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Why is this going on, friends? Because in the United States, just like the Roman Empire, they rejected the reality of God. They rejected the evidence for a creator. They adopted to evolutionism, postmodernism, atheism, Satanism, instead of Christianity. Okay, this has become the thought of the day. What's the result? We're reaping the consequences, friends. We're reaping the consequences. And this is why even as Christians, you got to be very careful. The Bible says, knowing the judgment of God, they which come in such things are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So the people who takes pleasure in the things that these folks are doing are just as guilty. So you can't even take pleasure in what they're doing. You have to speak against it, condemn it, and raise the voice of protest. So what's going on in the United States right now is the result of just apostasy. It's a result of lawlessness, ungodliness. It's a result of adapting to non-Christian values. And it hurts. A change has to come, though, but it has to come with each one of us. Because I tell you what, man, I'm not trying to save a nation. I'm trying to save my family, and I'm trying to save some people. And this can only be done by the power of the gospel. Because I'm not going to get into this notion of trying to save countries. We can't save countries, friends. I'm telling you. Countries don't need saving. Humanity needs saving. That's all I'm going to say. Share your thought and perspective with me. Have a good one. Bye.